Hey guys, it's Erin from Go Where and Go, and I'm here to answer some of your questions. This month we're going to be talking about volunteering on the road, and I have a really great question from Wendy actually. She responded to one of my articles about Antarctica wildlife, and she wanted to know what are some great experiences volunteering down there on the White Continent. And when I was down there, the only one I really heard about, unless you have a real scientific background, is through National Geographic. And National Geographic has a program where you can go and pay about $5,000. And with that, you go on a 2-week expedition where you are counting penguins and sitting outside, 5, 6, 8 hours a day. So it does get pretty cold. Obviously, there's some breaks in there. But it's actually a relatively great deal because most expedition ships for 2 weeks are anywhere from $7,000, $7,500, which is bottom basic, which is what I paid because I signed on list 10 days in advance, up to $12,000 and as much as $20,000. So $5,000 for all expenses paid, and you get to do volunteer work. I think it's a pretty good deal, and it's something I'm definitely going to check out. I think next time I go down there on my next trip to Antarctica. National Geographic also has some other really cool ways to volunteer in the United States and other places. So if you're interested in going on an archaeological dig, for instance, for $125 a day, you could dig for dinosaur bones in Wyoming, which sounds kind of cool. Or you could work with chimpanzees in Uganda for $1,500 for 2 weeks. So again, that would probably be my first stop if you're going to an exotic location looking to do some research and some volunteer work, especially with animals. Another question comes from Ryan, who wanted to know how I choose my volunteer opportunities overseas. And this is actually kind of a complex question and very individual, right? Because you have to decide a number of things. You have to kind of think about what are the causes you want to support. Like, is it hunger or water or housing or education? Is there a particular area or region of the world that you want to go to, like South America, because you want to practice your Spanish, or Africa, or some parts of Asia? Or do you have a particular talent that you want to share? Do you have a medical background, or are you a builder, or a teacher? And so those are sort of some of the factors that are going to really factor into your overall decision. So once you have some kind of the parameters set, and there are a list of questions that I'll link to on my website about some of the questions to ask, you can find a wealth of opportunities overseas, really just online. Now the trick is to actually getting a quality volunteer assignment, because a lot of times you pay money and it's not necessarily the best experience for you. So you want to be very careful in terms of checking out the organization, talking with other volunteers to get their firsthand reaction and reviews, and kind of going from there. So I think if you're going to stay for anywhere less than 30 days or 60 days, you are going to expect to pay. So be ready for that. Of course, it's going to be a different amount depending on the region of the world and what you're actually doing. But nonprofits can't really afford to take volunteers and to house them and provide them with an experience without charging money, unless you're going to make a long-term commitment to the organization. So those are some of the things to think about when you're headed overseas to volunteer. The third question actually comes from Alfred, and he wanted to know how much money I spent on my 2-year trip. And I actually budgeted about $80,000 for the 2 years. I probably ended up spending maybe $95,000 for the 2 years, but of course I didn't really go bargain basement, so to speak. I mean, I did some backpacking, but I didn't buy a round the world ticket. I would make last minute decisions to, take flights here and there. If I wasn't having a good time for whatever reason, or had a medical emergency, I would just buy a plane ticket and get out of there. So again, I didn't go the cheapest way. I know some people say that you could do it in $50 a day. I think that's pretty tough. And some of those that you hear about, they're talking about hitchhiking and eating every meal on the street and some like things. And some things that just really aren't that safe to do, especially long term. So I think a more realistic budget is between $80 and $120 a day, depending again on what you want to do and the type of activities you want to do and where you're going. I do a lot of mountain climbing, diving, kayaking. Those are really expensive sports, and so I'm paying a little bit of a premium there as well. And like I said, I never really want to be in a situation where I can't afford to either get out of a country when I want to, or upgrade out of the situation that I'm in. So that's kind of a rule of thumb for me. So those are some questions. I hope I answered them, your questions for you. So if you have any others, definitely write in, let me know. Happy to answer them, and I hope you guys have a great time on the road. I'll see you. Bye.